2025, it's a brand new year, but what are we doing in this new year? Are we going back to chasing sneaker after sneaker after sneaker? Are we continuing to use discernment and spend less, buy less, but truly enjoy the pairs that we already have in hand? Well, you know what? I can't personally answer that for you. You need to make the decision on whatever this year will be for you in sneakers. Nonetheless, please be confident in whatever that journey is for you. I know that I have certainly pulled back on sneakers. I mean, you've seen the shift. We'll talk about the shift. You've seen that shift happen for me if you've been around, even since 2022, but certainly earlier than that. So yeah, I pulled back on shoes heavily in 2024. I'm going to continue to do the same thing in 2025. So if you are someone where you've gone through, it feels like a natural phase, and I've had people comment that it happens, right? It ends up happening to all of us. Now, I'm not going to say everything is a blanket statement across the board, because I know people that are in their 40s and 50s and they have not stopped chasing sneakers whatsoever, right? Like, they're still doing it at a high constant rate because it fulfills them, and that is great for them. You need to do whatever is going to fulfill you in whatever stage of life that you're in. And guess what? You may be in a phase where you choose to really go all in, and then you pull back, and then you go all in again. That is 1000% your choice. Now, a lot of us have gone from, we were little and we were so into sneakers, and maybe it started with a friend, a family member, doesn't matter, okay? You saw a pair, it caught your eye, and it took off like wildfire, and you wanted so many pairs, right? But you're a kid, we've already discussed this, mom and dad aren't buying every single shoe that you may want. They have responsibilities to take care of. You become an adult. You have disposable income, and my God, the floodgates open, you do the most because you can, and there's no one to really tell you no. And then maybe you do hit a point where you're like, maybe less could be more. Now let's just try it. And maybe you are fulfilled by buying less pairs, by donating, by selling those pairs. A shift can happen. And I'm not going to do a whole video of all the things we need to leave behind. I'm not, because you can check out the video I did in 2024. Does it still apply? I think a lot of it, yeah, of like the things I said, hey, can we leave these in 2023? I think they certainly can still apply to this year. There is one thing that I will say I would like to see that we get away from. This perspective that you were disingenuous in terms of your passion or appreciation or love of sneakers or the culture simply because you don't want to chase every single sneaker release that happens anymore. That is one thing that I would love for us to get away from. And I've seen it in my comment section, so I'm not only speaking from seeing it in other people's comment sections, I'm talking about my own. Just as I have support of this shift and people feeling that they are in the same boat or they've already gone through this phase and it feels great for them, the shift happened for them, and they own less, they enjoy more of what they own, and now they're just doing other things with their money. That's not always the case though, right? If for the yin, you need the yang, which means you have people that are claiming you were disingenuous in terms of loving sneakers or you just got into it in 2020. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm perceived as like younger than what I actually am. I don't know if that plays a part in people's perception of like, I just got into this. Again, I don't know. 35, not new to this. But people have that assumption, right? Let me be clear. Although our paths will all be different, please do not have anyone or let anyone make you feel any less assertive or decisive in your actual journey and whatever path you may be on right now, right? Because one, being able to afford almost any want that you could possibly have also means that it doesn't become as big of a deal. At least that's what I found, right? I mean, let's just take a look back. 2022. That was the year in which I think I have purchased the most sneakers. And great, right? Enjoyed it. I think I bought 44 because I wanted to buy those sneakers for myself at the time. Mind you, that was also the same year I paid off my Benz early, gifted it to my mom for Christmas, bought myself another car. Okay, so that's not to say that, I just blew everything I had on sneakers that year. I didn't. That's another misconception that I would like to go out the window, because I don't even assume that everyone is just irresponsibly out here spending money. No, I do know that there are people doing that, and I hope that with my content I can open people's eyes to, hey, just make sure if you're going to enjoy this and indulge in this super materialistic passion, please make sure that you are doing it in a responsible manner. That is all I ever want. It's not to assume that you have to be in deep credit card debt, because I've never spent a dime of interest on credit card debt, certainly not over sneakers or streetwear, but you can be doing well and still want to improve on what you're doing. That is just called growth. Because I've seen people say, You guys didn't have a problem spending hundreds of dollars of sneaker or hundreds of dollars in resale a few years ago. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. That is called growth, my friend. That is called realizing maybe the value you thought was there in a shoe at a certain price point is actually not there for you, especially if we're looking at cost per wear. Yes, I am bringing that video back up. I will continue to bring that video up because it has helped me in so many ways. I don't look at things the same because I fully understand the cost per wear is just not valid for a lot of items, especially if you own a lot. I own a lot. I had to go through a whole closet reset sooner than what I wanted to because one of my shelves was doing the shoulder lean that had all of my sweats and my cargo pants and denim on it. And so I've already had to like clear out clothing and put some shoes aside that I think I'm going to get rid of. So I've already, when you have a lot, you have to understand you're not going to wear anything as much as what you think you are. You're just not. So yes, looking at cost per wear, for me to want to think, oh, let's spend $300 to $500 on a shoe. Do you know how little that shoe is going to be worn? It's just not going to be worn enough for me to justify the cost per wear. It's not. And a lot of us realized, oh yeah, I may have wanted a shoe at a price then. Fast forward to now, no, I don't. One, that doesn't need any additional explanation. Two, that really is just called growth of awareness of what you value. Your values can change, okay? They can. How you choose to wear, appreciate, consume sneakers, that can certainly change as well. Does that mean you're any less passionate about sneaker culture? It doesn't. And that is one thing I would love to leave in 2024. Now, I will say this. I think my peers, my male peers, I think they get this a little bit worse. Let me explain. If you ever look at comment sections for male YouTubers, okay, especially if they are, it's noticeable maybe that they're past the age of 30. My goodness, the number of times that they will get in their comment section, aren't you a little too old for this? Shouldn't you be focusing on a family? Shouldn't you be worried about buying a house and kids and something else other than sneakers? You know, bless up to you all for just dealing with that in really like graceful ways because I don't get it, but I think that also is, I don't know, maybe it's just as a woman, I won't receive that same amount of attention or that perspective. It could be also because people perceive me to be younger than what I am. So they think, oh, like she's in her 20s, so she'll grow out of this. You don't need to have to grow out of anything, again, if you're doing it responsibly. If sneakers is what you love and you want to continue to buy these pairs and you have the financial means to do it, by all means, then do it. Just because I don't choose to do it, I would never sit here and look down on someone else because they choose to do it. There was certainly a time where I wanted the wall-to-wall sneakers. You know the photos I'm talking about. They're aesthetic. They're color coordinated. They're organized. That fuels something in me. I just don't want that for myself anymore. But I would never look down, and I hate the thought that people will also say, oh, like, you need to mature and not do this. Here's the thing. How we experience or enjoy something, maturity can look so different. It can. Maturity can look to some, I'm buying less pairs and I'm reallocating those funds to something else. It can be how you choose to enjoy those shoes. It may not be you focusing on chasing the pairs for myself. Maybe it's for you and your significant other. Maybe it's then with your children, you're wanting to enjoy this passion with them. Like, hello, that is a very real progression that happens. You want to pass along the passions that you have. I mean, so much respect and congratulations. Eddie, saw the video with you and your new baby girl. Absolutely adorable. But I loved how he said, you know, people will, oh, well, this is going to end once you enter fatherhood and it's all going to change. Life is about change all around. How you choose to navigate that change, how you choose to frame it and sculpt it so you are still having fulfillment in it and enjoyment in it as it changes, that's what it's about. So you don't have to completely drop all enjoyment when it comes to sneakers, as he said, just because he now has a daughter. No, that's just going to shift in how he may consume that content, but the passion is still there. It just may be, quite honestly, him putting out more content for dads as you are, going about your day-to-day life with your child. There's so many ways to continue to enjoy what we love in sneakers, but as it shifts and it changes, it can look very different. And that's okay. It can look different, right? The one thing I will say you're going to need in 2025, you're going to need discernment if you are into Jordans, because I've already made a video. It's going to be like $5,600 just on Jordans alone, provided that they're not canceled and you're trying to chase every single pair that's coming out that is just really sought after. That's a lot. Okay, that is a lot. So I am going to continue to advocate for you all to be responsible in your spending. That is absolutely what I'm here for. I don't provide the early looks for you guys or showing you every shoe. I don't. That's why I will say, please go support my peers that are going to provide that, right? Like, all of us are going to have, I think, something valuable that you can take from our content. So if you need the early looks, and I have mixed feelings about early looks only because I think we just become fatigued and seeing the shoe so early. But you know what? When you need to really use some discernment on what pairs you're going after, what pairs you're not, because these things are expensive, being able to see that shoe early may be able to help you check that box of, yes, it's something I absolutely want. It's on my list to buy. I'm going to plan ahead in terms of money for this. Or, you know what? It's not that deep and I don't want it. Go watch my peers that will certainly provide you that content. I know when it comes to retros, it's going to be Unbreakable Kicks. It's going to be Jay the Sneaker Guy. They're going to have the early looks for you. And that way, maybe you can make a more sound decision on this shoe is really, really a top priority want. It's not a need. A top priority want. And now I need to go about how to get this in a responsible way. And we will go through all of that in 2025. So hopefully you guys stick around. You can see there have been some changes. I got a little horror corner over here because if you know me, I love sneakers. I love fashion. I love the WNBA. I love Clay and Steph. And I love horror. So got a little horror section going on here. I actually have a Camp Crystal Lake hat on. So my birthday gifts were just horror themed. So I just thought I would go ahead and update the shelf here to account for that. Go ahead and let me know like which is maybe your favorite. I'm not gonna name a favorite, okay? Because I don't want to be disrespectful to you. I don't want to name a favorite, but hopefully you guys continue to tune in. If you missed the last video by myself for 2024, I got rid of 98 pairs. Let's see how many I get rid of in 2025. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.